you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what my heart longs for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. By your presence, Lord. Y'all, it's like 6 in the morning, and I'm up and I'm just thinking about, like, what God has done in my life. Like, I couldn't find everything, but I did find this. And y'all know, like, I ain't been on Snapchat in, like, I want to say a year or so. And even, like, when I wasn't really on there like that. But basically what I'm trying to say is, a lot of stuff I had deleted, and I kind of forgot, like, how far God has brought me in the past 3 years, I think, since I gave my life to Christ. But yeah, like, he's done so much. Like, I found this screenshot right here. There is, like, extreme language, so please excuse the language, but I'm just showing y'all. Like, I'm just showing y'all. And so, like, I'm looking back on all this stuff, like, all this sin, all this, like, I was a homosexual. I was, like, every third word that I said was a cuss word. Like, I was smoking weed. I was, like, doing everything that you can think of, and I was dealing with so much. I was dealing with, like, depression. I was dealing with anxiety. I was dealing with, man, so many things, suicidal thoughts, like, everything that you can think of is something that I was dealing with. I came from, like, I came from a lot, and, like, God saw all that. Jesus saw all of it, and he still forgave me for everything that I did. Like, my whole life, I went through life not knowing who I was, not knowing what my purpose was, not knowing what I was designed to do, not knowing why I was even here, because all the stuff that was happening around me and happening to me was just like, what is the point of living? You know, I got to that point where I was like, what is the point of living? Why am I here? Like, what is this? Why am I wasting my time with this useless life? Like, why am I doing this? And time after time after time, I can't tell you how many times God tried to reach me when I was younger. Like, he would send people to me, you know, trying to give me the gospel, and I didn't want it, because I wanted to keep doing what I was doing because I was having fun. But the consequences of my fun, I could choose my actions, but I couldn't choose my consequences. And every time I would indulge in certain things, like, at the aftermath, you know, the enemy would get me with the shiny thing, you know, that I would have. Oh, if you do this, you'll feel like this. If you'll do that, you know, you'll feel amazing, and etc., etc. But he wouldn't tell me about the aftermath. He wouldn't tell me about, you know, how I feel after I did that thing. He wouldn't tell me, like, what I would go through after dealing with that certain thing that he tried to get me to do. Like, even now, you know, I see people that I went to high school with, that I went to middle school with, you know, I see them, you know, going to hit the club. I see them going to hit the bottle, going to hit the blunt, and just hitting stuff, you know what I'm saying? Just in this constant cycle of, well, if I do this, I'm going to feel all right. And if I do this, I'm going to feel all right. And just keep going over and over and over and over again. It's like you're stuck in a cycle. Well, I'm here to tell you that God has bigger plans and greater plans for your life. He loves you and he cares for you. And I'm here to tell you, your life is not meaningless, and you are not your desires. A lot of people, and I want to speak from, like, you know, I want to speak for, like, coming from the LGBTQIA community. I'm here to, like, let folks know, everybody out here, like, that's saying that they, you know, gay or lesbian or whatever, everybody out here ain't just wanting to be that. Like, some people feel like they legit stuck because they are. I know, because I'm one of those people, and they probably ain't gonna tell you about that. They probably ain't gonna tell you, oh man, I feel really stuck. I just want to get out of this. Like, the moments that I would not tell people about, even though I was, you know, proud to be a lesbian, proud to be gay outside. I wouldn't tell people, like, on the inside, you know, when I was by myself and thinking, why am I here and why do I have this struggle? You know, like, I would think about God and be like, well, if you don't want me to be like this, then why did you make me like this? You know? And then God did something real tricky. Not tricky, but like sneaky. Not sneaky, but he was slick with it. I'm going to say it like that. He did something real slick. So, one day, I was taking my ACT at the University of Memphis. I was 17. You know, I'm about to be 21 now. And I was taking my ACT at the University of Memphis. I had just got done. I was waiting on my ride. One thing I did not tell y'all, mind y'all, I was a Hebrew Israelite as well. That's a whole nother thing to unpack. But, yeah, so I'm in that mindset. So I'm a, you know, gay Hebrew Israelite, just sitting there, you know, scrolling on my phone, waiting on somebody to answer and pick me up, waiting on my mama, my dad, and my brother. Anybody. I'm calling anybody and nobody answering the phone. And so, you know, I'm scrolling on Instagram, minding my own business. And this woman walked up to me, grown woman, but I ain't care. Like, I'm thinking, you know, so she asked me a question. She said, hey, can I ask you a question? And so in my mind, you know, the Hebrew Israelite homosexual mind that I had, you know, I'm thinking, oh, she trying to, you know, get with me. So I'm like, yeah, you can ask me a question. Yeah, what's up? And so what God did was he appealed to me. Like, he knew what was going to make me pay attention to him. Like, this woman was attractive to me. Like, I'll say it like that. He knew, like, I was going to pay attention to what she was saying to me. So she asked me, she said, has anyone ever told you that God loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life? And, like, if y'all know me, y'all know, like, I laugh at anything. So I started laughing. Like, I'm talking about falling over, he laughing, like, all that. And she like, no, I'm serious. Like, has anyone ever asked you that before? And I'm like, no, nobody. I mean, no, she said, has anyone ever told you that before? I said, no, nobody's ever told me that before. And so she started telling me her testimony. And she started telling me, like, all the stuff that God had done in her life. And she started to tell me how he changed her life around. And I'm, you know, listening in disbelief. And so in the end, you know, after she started telling me, like, how God showed her what her purpose was and gave meaning to her life and, you know, all this other stuff, like setting her free from just generational iniquity and curses and all that. And in the end, I still couldn't get it right. Like, nobody still was answering to pick me up. And so her mom came out. So her mom worked at the University of Memphis too. And she asked me and this other girl, the other girl sitting, you know, right in front of me. And so she asked me and the other girl, she was like, where y'all rides at? And we was like, we don't know. She was like, well, if y'all rides don't come, we'll have to call campus security. And in my mind, I'm 17, so in my mind, campus security is the police. So I'm calling, I'm like, hey, and still nobody answering. Like, I'm calling everybody. So I had to tell them, I was like, well, ain't nobody answering, so I can't really do anything. And they ended up giving me and the girl rides home. Because, you know, the lady's mom, she was like, well, you stay close to me. She was talking to the other girl. And you stay close to her. So the lady that walked up to me, she stayed close to me. So they ended up giving us rides home. So yes, before you judge me, I rode home with a complete stranger. But the whole ride there, I mean, I felt really safe with her. Like, I felt so safe with her. The whole ride home, I mean, she just talking my ear off. And if y'all know me, y'all know I talk a lot. But at that moment, I wasn't saying nothing. I was just listening. And, like, I'm listening to her, and the whole time I'm like, man, I feel like I've known her my whole life. And the best way I can explain that now is it was just a divine connection. Like, God purposefully put that woman in my life for a specific reason. And I still talk to her to this day. But anyway, so when I got out of the car, you know, we got to the house, and I got out the car, she asked me, she said, what am I doing tomorrow? And it was Saturday. And I was like, no, I ain't doing nothing. you know, she was like, oh, well, come to church with me. And I was like, church. You know, I hadn't been to church in, like, it was a long time since I had been to a church building. And even when I was going to church, I was not a believer. Like, I was just in there just doing the most. Like, that's what I was doing. So, but I ended up saying yes because she was a cool person. I really liked who she was, and I really liked what she was talking about. So, the next morning, I had took my niece to church with me. And, like, you know, she had picked us up. And, yeah. I had met her husband. At the time, she had, like, I think 3 kids or 4. She had 6 now. But I met all of them. You know, even before I got into the church, like, God just began to pour into me through these people. Like, I mean, even the kids was talking about Jesus, like Jesus this, Jesus that. And I'm like, what is this thing about Jesus y'all keep doing? If y'all know anything about Hebrew Israelite, y'all know that anything that has to do with Jesus, they like, nah. Like, they believe he a prophet, but that's about it. They don't believe that, you know, he is God. They don't believe he is God. They just think he a prophet. So I ended up going to church with them, and like, the people there was just, it was unlike anything I had ever seen in my life. Like, they were so authentic and so genuine and so real. It was like nobody was stuck up and all that. Like, every stereotype that I heard about the church and about Christians, like, I saw none of that. I ain't see none of that. Like, they welcomed me with open arms, no matter what I looked like and no matter what I was talking about. They was, man, unlike anything I ever seen before. And so then I got in the church. Then I heard the preaching. Now, I ain't gonna lie. A lot of it went over my head. Straight over my head. Like, and now I know it's because, like, if you don't have the Spirit of God, if you don't get saved before you go to church, you're not gonna understand nothing that the preacher is saying. Absolutely nothing. And I didn't know that, but I was really, you know, intrigued by how passionate the preacher was about what he was talking about. And so that made me want to keep coming, to be honest. Even though I ain't understand what he was saying, I was trying to understand the best I could. And so, anyway, after that, after church, they invited me to their house for dinner. And they started ministering to me at dinner. They started to tell me that God had huge plans for my life. And they said that nobody was going to know that but me and God. So it was going to take me developing my own relationship with God for him to reveal things about me to me. They didn't know nothing. Only God knew. And so he wanted that for me. He wanted to give me things, and I had to know what they was. I had to know. I was like, well, what is this stuff y'all keep talking about? And they was like, we don't know. You gonna have to find it out, you know, as you develop your relationship with God. And so I'm like, okay, so what do I gotta do? And they told me that I gotta give everything up. And I'm like, well, what do y'all mean, give everything up? And they was like, well, you can't be doing the same stuff that you doing now. You know, I was out here, like, in public. I'm talking about, like, slopping females down. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I'm just be real. In public. And I was, like I said, I was smoking weed. I was, man, in the mindset that I was a manipulative person. I was an abusive person. And I was toxic. I was a very toxic person. Like, all of my friends from then, they'll tell you, like, I was not the best person to be around when I was upset. And I'm just being honest. I didn't have friendships for very long. I ruined a relationship. I ruined relationships with people. Like I said, I didn't have friendships for very long. No friendship lasted a long time. So a lot of people only know bits and pieces of who I am and where I come from and all that. And so, yeah, that's part of that was on me. But anyway, that was like, you got to give up all of that. You got to give up your whole life. And I was like, you know, why would I do that? And, well, he was like, well, the guy, the husband, he was like, well, he did it for you. He gave up his life for you so that you could know God and you could have a relationship with God. So, you know, it's only right. The great exchange. Switch your life for his life. So we would do that for a couple weeks, you know. I would go to church with them, hear the word, you know. Come, you know, on Wednesday nights and stuff. And I would go to their house for lunch. And every day that I saw them, they would ask me, you ready to give your life to Jesus yet? You ready to give your life to Jesus yet? I'd be like, no. And so there was one day after I had spent time with them, I went home and I was at the house by myself. And I started thinking, you know, started weighing the cost. Like, is my life right now really better than the life that Jesus wants for me? Like, is the life that I'm building up for myself really better than the life that Jesus is trying to give to me? Like, and I'm like, wait a minute, I hate my life. I had forgot. I'm like, wait a minute, I hate my life. So yeah, I was like, man, I've been trying all this time my way, and it ain't working. So I'm done. At this point, I'm done. Like, done could mean two things for people. Done could mean I'm finna give my life to the devil. Like, I'm finna end it. I'm finna kill myself. Or done can mean I'm finna give my life to Jesus. I don't have nothing left. Like, that's all I got. Everything that I tried is not worth it. Like, it's not working. Like, I don't want it anymore. Like, take it, Lord. Take all of it. Like, I know it's gonna be hard. You know, I know I'm gonna struggle with, you know, whatever. But I'm here. And I need your help. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't do this without you. You can't do it without him. Because if you didn't need him, you wouldn't need him. You see what I'm saying? You can't get ready to give your life to. You ain't never going to be ready. Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Here you go. Here. But nah, for real, like, don't wait. Like, don't wait. Don't wait. Like, God has given me an amazing life. I ain't got nothing to go back to. There is nothing for me in that desolate land that I left behind called my old life. It's over. It's done. I'm not going back. Like, he's changed me and made me new. And I can't ask for anything else. I really can't. And a lot of people not going to understand it. And it's okay. It's okay. It's not for everybody to understand, but it is for me to let y'all know that his grace is available to you. Like, it's available. If I'm not responsible for nothing else, it's to tell y'all what he did for me in my life. And tell my testimony that he gave me. If I can't do nothing else, I'm going to do that. And if I ain't got nothing else to do, I'm going to do that. So, yeah.
Fear that thing really don't know me, cause God got me and the broskies win, call me a trophy that won't win, formed against on me, spreading truth all day, that's LT, devil losing it in that routine, 130 with the blood, I am clean, on TikTok, I'm spinning, flowing, speaking truth, you can hear it in my tone, when the king come back, better know I'm going home.